Out of all the knives that I've seen and looked at, I don't think I've ever seen a slip joint that is as sturdy as this one. Hello everybody, hope y'all are doing good out there today. So we're going to be taking a look at a new knife here. Now, this knife, this is not an unboxing, because I've had this knife out of this box. I'm trying to film this outside so I can get really good lighting, so I can do this knife justice, but I may have to go in a little bit because it's really cold. So if y'all would, please just excuse my gloves right here. And this knife, as you can see, 2280R. This is a Delrin Son. The R stands for Rosewood. Made in the USA. That's what we want to see. So as y'all know, I've been buying some of these lately. And I found a really good deal. They had some really good deals going. And I've got a few of them that are coming and that are going to be on the channel soon. And so there's going to be 3 or 4 of them going to be showing up here over the next few weeks so on the channel. Because I found just an amazing buy on them. And so I bought a few different models that I thought would be interesting knives. And if they're put together really good, would be excellent quality knives. So as you can see, it comes in this little sheath right here. This little slip. But this is the knife itself. You can see it's got the rosewood handles. We got 2 back springs. Both of them are stainless steel liners. Like I said, rosewood. We got 3 pins in each side, and we got our big Barlow bolster. Most of y'all are going to recognize what this is right here. This is the famous 4-inch Delrin Son Barlow with sheet foot blade. What makes this one unique is that it has a secondary blade. So let's take a look at it. These are in stainless steel when they have rosewood. Got 6 dots. I believe that means this is a 24. Let's listen to the snap. Good snap, just like we expect. They did a good straight job on the edge right there, as you can see. It's a little gritty, but that's kind of what you expect. It's not as gritty as most of Case's or Buck's sharpening jobs. Got this nice long nail nick. You got this swedge at the top of the blade right there. Looks good. It's the blade like almost everybody who's into knives has seen this right here. But it's been popular in a single-bladed version, and I believe it was just this year they brought out the double-bladed. Another thing to note, it runs on washers, just like the single blade does, and both blades are going to run on these washers. I'm assuming they're brass, but I'll tell you, the action's great on this knife. Nice, firm, strong half stop. Nice closing snap. Check out the blade centering. What do y'all think about that? These knives aren't perfect, but they're good enough. The reason why I wanted this knife is I like having 2 blades on a knife. Especially when I've got a main blade that's designed something like that sheep's foot. It can be hard to get that blade down into a tight area, like behind a zip tie that's connected to a T-post or something. And this blade could be hard because of just how wide and stout it is. And reaching your finger up to use as a depth gauge could be kind of hard because it's a big blade. And so I like the idea of having a pin blade. And this 2-bladed version, they started doing it. Take a look at that pin blade right there. What I loved about it when I first opened it up is look at the tip. That is a sharp, sharp tip. It's almost a Wharncliffe. It's not quite flat, but within a few sharpenings, it could be completely flat if you wanted to sharpen it that way. And the tip is just excellent on this. Clamshell packages, anything like that would be in trouble with this blade. And this blade is good for getting into them tight places where you couldn't get the bigger blade. But look at that blade. That's a great blade. Now, this is probably the sturdiest slip joint that I've ever seen. I mean, if you look at just the way this thing is constructed, it is sturdy and it is heavy. I'll put in the description how much this knife weighs, because it's not a lightweight knife. It's pretty heavy. Now, as for the fit and finish, let's see here. What do we have to say? What would we normally check? We'll check for gaps. Nothing to speak of, nothing that concerns me. You might be able to see a little bit of something there, but no light coming through or nothing. Looks good. But y'all know I don't really worry about gaps. What about the pins? All the pins look good to me. What about y'all? And they're nice and smooth. The transitions also. You can't catch your fingernail on any of them or nothing. They're fine. You could on the very corners with your fingernail when I first got it, and I just smoothed that right off of my buffer. It took 20 seconds. The blades, they were sharp from the factory. I ran them over my ceramic rod just to do it, but it didn't need it. They were fine as they were, but that's just the knife nut in me wanting to do that. The action, smooth, and it's going to break in. The blade centering, we already looked at that, but you can see the blade centering spot on. Another thing I'll say is some of the early Bear & Son single blade Barlows like this, there was a complaint about the blade wiggling, flopping around inside of it. And I'll show you another one in a minute here. But this one right here, as you can see, it's sturdy. They fixed that however it was, and it don't wiggle anymore. Blade wobble. Zero blade wobble. And I love to get a knife without blade wobble. I don't like to have to fix blade wobble on a knife, especially when it's a new knife. It just don't seem right. Now, there's only one flaw on this, the best I can tell, and that is if we follow where the wood meets the stainless steel liner, you'll notice we've got a gap right here. Now, I've pushed around on it and everything, and I can't get it to budge. It's super sturdy, so I ain't worried about that. That ain't no problem. I would rather have that gap than have to tighten a bolster or have a badly ground blade or something. That right there is no problem, but it is there. That's the only flaw I found on this whole knife. Let's compare it to some others. Now, this right here is a queen, but it's pretty obvious that it's the same knife that Bear & Son is making these for queen cutlery. And this is the single-bladed version, the same basic 4-inch Barlow, except it's got brass liners. Now, if you look at this blade, see how I can wiggle that around? You can't do that anymore, at least not on this 2-blade. Here you can see that they're the same thing. The only difference is one's a double blade, one's a single blade. Now, you're going to add a lot of weight by making it a double blade. And you're going to add a lot of heft in terms of sturdiness and in the way it feels in the hand. And I like having this pin blade. To me, having this secondary pin blade is a huge upgrade. And this knife is under $50. I paid $34 for that brand new. Absolutely great buy. You cannot complain or fuss about it for that price from the way this knife's put together. You can't say anything bad about it, really. Now, Bear & Son's regular size, a Barlow, I've had it a while. It's, stainless steel again. You got your 2 blades. This is the same series, same handle. You can see there, it's a much smaller knife. It's closer to 3.5 inches, rather than this one being closer to 4 inches. You can see there's a huge size difference. And a difference in the blade shape and everything. You're getting a sheep's foot versus a clip point blade, and just the size of the handle is ginormously different. Now, the pin blades, let's pull the pin blades out. Compare them to each other. One thing I will say, both of these knives are easy to operate in these gloves I got on. So that's nice. I was curious if they would just use the pin blade from their smaller Barlow in this larger one, but they haven't. Now, they've got a sharpening trill on this one, but they didn't go quite all the way back to it. But that's no problem to me. As I sharpen it, that stuff will cure itself. You can see the blade's a little bit longer, the cutting edge is, on the larger Barlow, and the tip's a little pointier. I love the pointiness of the tip of this large Barlow. Now, one thing I will say, this large Barlow might be too big for some people to carry in their pocket, because it's so hefty. This knife would be excellent if you had a belt sheath that fit it perfect for like a 4-inch knife. Oh, that would be a great way to carry that knife around. Now, I said at the beginning of this video that it's about the sturdiest slip joint that I've ever seen. And I'll stand by that, and I'll give some comparisons. A lot of people are probably going to think about the K75 as being sturdy. And it's a sturdy knife, but it ain't nowhere near sturdy as this large Barlow. If you like bigger knives, you love trappers, if you like large stockmans like the 75, you're gonna love this Baron Son if you like Barlows. Especially if you're somebody, a lot of people love these 75 cases because they've got this big, stout, sturdy sheep's foot blade. Well, you're absolutely going to love the sheep's foot blade on this large Barlow. It's absolutely great. This isn't so large as to be what some used to call a granddaddy Barlow, but it's still a large knife. It's probably what you call maybe a daddy Barlow. I don't know. Because you got a baby Barlow, got a regular Barlow, and then maybe daddy and granddaddy, I'm not sure. You can see, though, thickness-wise, it isn't any thicker than a case 75. It is on the bolsters, because, you know, the case gets narrower on the edges. But if we compare middle to middle, I don't know how I'm going to show that, but if you compare middle to middle, the fattest point of the case and the fattest point of the Baron Son, they're the same thickness. And it may weigh about the same. Like I said, I'm going to put the weights down in the comments. I don't have my scale out here with me, stomping around in the snow. Another knife I know that people have liked for its sturdiness has been the older case copperheads. This one right here is a 78 case copperhead. And you can see this is a stout knife, the way it's put together and built. And if you look at the handle size, you can see the handle sizes are nearly identical. Let me pull out that main blade. Yeah, those handle sizes are nearly identical. And if you're somebody who really likes the old copperhead size, you're going to love the size of this Barlow because it's almost identical. Of course, it's a Barlow design with a large bolster, and it doesn't have any bolster on the bottom. Also, you're getting a large sheep's foot instead of a clip point. Let's compare the edges themselves. Look at the edge. It looks to me like the case is a little bit longer. Looks like it's just got a little more cutting edge on the case here. Now your secondary blades, you got half stops on both these, by the way. These copperheads are known for having this huge, stout pin blade, and the Barlow's pin blade is not as large or stout. Well, it might be a stout. That would come down to the thickness of the blade. You can see the Baron Son on the left does have thicker blade stock, so I'd say it's a stout. But the blade isn't quite as long. The case is a little longer, but the tip on the Baron Son I like better because it's so sharp. It'd be absolutely great, you know, great to hold it and to put your finger up here like this and to cut into a clamshell package or something. That'd be absolutely great. So, nevertheless, if you like this knife, you're probably going to like this one a lot too. It's a lot larger knife than something like the case Sodbuster Jr. I know a lot of people like these because they're work knives. But a knife like this, to me, is a knife that's meant to be used. This is an actual work knife because you're getting that sheep's foot blade and that super sharp pin blade. Plus, it's a handsome looking knife. I mean, it don't look cheap. It looks really nice. And they've got a home run. If they'll keep their quality up and keep making this knife as nice as this one is, it'll be one of the most popular knives being sold. I'm sure of it. It deserves to be. It's an excellent, excellent knife. Also, I don't remember if I said it or not, but the blade is a mirror polish. Some of the other Baron Sons with the rosewood handle are stone washed. This one's a mirror polish, which makes it easy to maintain if you have a buff or you use like Flitz polish. You can keep it shined up. But this is stainless steel, supposed to be like 440 stainless steel, something around that. Chicago Knife Works still has these on sale for 30-something bucks. If you want a good knife, this is a really great knife. Of course, these, I've only seen one other on YouTube so far. I was thinking I'd have the first one put on YouTube, but it took them so long to ship because Chicago Knife Works, they can be slow about shipping. And nevertheless, somebody had put one up before I got this one in to be able to put it up. But if you're looking for one, they've still got them for 30-something bucks, and that's probably the best 30-something bucks you could pay for a knife. You're not going to get a USA-made knife that's put together this good, that's this sturdy, that looks this good. I mean, it's a great looking knife, a great utilitarian knife too, with the blades, how they complement each other. Good size, sturdy. You're not going to be able to beat it for that price. Thanks for watching. You all have a good day. Keep your knives sharp.